With the breaking news, the Red Sox sign Alex Bregman. Holy crap, they actually did it. They actually spent money. From the Town Fair Tire Studio, Felger Mazz, 98.5, the Sports Hub simulcast on NBC Sports Boston, courtesy of presenting sponsor Supercuts. On the radio end, it is DraftKings. Felger out once again. He'll be back tomorrow. So Mazz in his normal spot, Big Jim here, running point. Good day for baseball, boy, to be in. Hello, Matt McCarthy.
The Boston Red Sox are back. What a day to be alive.
Here's how I found out last night. I was, and we'll touch on other stuff throughout the day, but this is going to be the main focal point, and rightfully so, with the Red Sox signing Alex Bregman. But I was watching the Four Nations face-off, and so I wasn't, it's not like you're going to get a scroll on that on TNT. And I went to take a leak, and I got a random text from a guy I used to work with in Atlanta who's from Houston, been working in Houston sports. And at 10:38 p.m., it says, you'll like Bregman. He's a gamer. Going to be interesting to see if he gets off to one of those slow starts. I was like, wait, what? And I quickly took to Twitter, and what do you know? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I can't believe that they actually did this.
Do you like it?
I do. Look, we'll get into the money part of it. It ain't my money. Feels high. But look, they need a right-handed bat. They need someone that's going to, take that leadership role in that clubhouse desperately. They need his defense. I wanted them to do this. I've been all over them about their lack of spending and the fact that they've been outspent by the likes of the homeless A's of Sacramento now until they get to Vegas and the Angels that nobody cares. I mean, you're getting outspent by some of the dregs of Major League Baseball. That's embarrassing. Now, not so much. You did something of substance. You're going to have a baseball season. So I like it.
McCarthy?
Totally like it. How could you not like it?
Like it or love it?
Love it. You should love it as a Red Sox fan. I'm just happy I can be excited about my favorite team again, because this is a statement signaling to Red Sox fans that they are actually trying to win baseball games. This has been a long time coming, guys. For the first time in a long time, it's actually a good day to be a Red Sox fan. So I give them credit. I mean, listen, we've criticized them for years, rightfully so, but if John Henry wants to light up the cigar after getting this done last night, good for him.
No.
If Sam Kennedy, who, by the way, said that they were going to spend up to and around the luxury tax, said they wanted to try to build a 90 to 95 win team, I think they've kind of done that. Like, this is the Red Sox delivering on their promises. I've ripped them for years, rightfully so. It's only fair that I come in here today and say they did the job. This was a good offseason. This was a successful offseason, and this is the guy they needed to bring in to put the bow on it. It's a good day. It's a good day to be a Red Sox fan.
We'll get into what I think is the most embarrassing cigar moment since Monica Lewinsky later. You liked that?
I did.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
I'm with you, Murray.
Ugh, this pandering, embarrassing nonsense. But Maz, how did you feel about it?
So I like it.
Like it.
I'm sorry, you want more?
That feels tepid.
So here's what I'll tell you, okay? So look.
You have been pounding the table for something like this.
Okay,
like
so here's what I will tell you, and we'll get to all the particulars, because honestly, I think in a lot of ways this is a fascinating deal, and it's a fascinating decision by Bregman, given what was allegedly out there on the market for him.
Between the Cubs and the Tigers.
Yeah, so allegedly he had $170 million on the table on his 6-year deal and turned that down to take $120 over 3 years from the Red Sox. Again, I say allegedly because I think, as I've learned with Scott Porras clients over the years, there's always an asterisk, there's always fine print, there's always yeah, but. And I literally want to get to, over the course of the show today, like every possible detail about this move. From where's he going to play? Where's he going to hit? What does the contract look like? Who could they have had in lieu of him? All of this stuff to me is part of the discussion. So, do I like the move, to answer your question, Murray? Yes. Yes, I like the player. I don't love the player. I like the player. Would I want Alex Bregman on my team? Yes. As a free agent, is he going to be overpaid? Yes. Do I like the fact that he, as I always say, I always lean towards, or have a bias toward any guy who is both a candidate for the Silver Slugger and the Gold Glove at his position. That's a complete player. That's a guy who can hit above average at his position and play defense above average at his position. Alex Bregman is one of those guys. But I think the reaction to this signing or acquisition is kind of blowing me away, and not in a good way. I think the player is being completely overrated and turned into something he's not.
But you had to expect, though, Mazz, that people were going to lose their minds about this because they haven't done anything like this in so long. Now, again, expectations have been lowered dramatically in recent years, but the baseball club did that to their fan base. Like, did you expect people to be like, oh, cool? Of course, again, I'm not the Red Sox fan I once was. But again, when I saw this around 11:15 last night, I was like, holy crap. I couldn't believe it.
Okay, so look, this is part of my issue with it in that they have done so little that now somehow this lets them off the hook for 6 years of doing nothing.
Well, the reality is it's now an abusive relationship is what it is.
Okay.
You show us a little love. We're like, oh, okay, you love us again. All right, we'll be back.
And in some ways, I think this deal happened not because of them, but because of Bregman. So again, if he turned down that much money that was on the market, if that is legit, and again, I have my doubts, but if that is legit, then that's a guy who said, I want to play in Boston for less in guaranteed dollars. In the short term, he's going to get more. But in terms of guaranteed dollars, I don't know what Alex Bregman's going to get 3 years down the road if he hits the market again. I don't know what he's going to get if he hits the market this fall. I have no idea. What I do know is that he could have guaranteed himself, allegedly, $170 million, and he took $120 million to come to Boston. Why? So I want to hear from Bregman later in the week. Apparently, he could be in camp as soon as tomorrow, from what I understand. The Red Sox aren't officially commenting on this because he's not technically signed yet. And so I don't know, why they couldn't talk off the record or what have you. Again, I like the player. I'm glad he's here. It's a big step in the right direction. All of that is true. The way some people are responding to this, you'd think they won the World Series last night.
Headline, Mazz, semicolon, you're all too happy. Period. Put it up on the Sports Hub with this clip.
I was preferring to go with something more on the lines of Mazz, keep it in your pants. Do you know what Milliken did to himself in the control room over there during the course of today?
Yeah, it's on video.
They had to call the Olympic cleanup crew to get in there and clean his workspace.
Yeah, it's what I did to myself Monday night when I rewatched Super Bowl 59 with the Jurgens. Yes. So you want to get into all the minutia of this, and rightfully so, because, again, the positional part of it, too, I want you two to break down, because I do have questions about that. But with just what you said there, why he made this decision, because he could have made more money elsewhere. Safe to say that the manager is part of this then?
Sure.
Because of their relationship that they had with the Houston Astros and him playing there? Like, I have to think that part of that is Alex Cora.
It's part of it, but let me ask it to you this way. If they had offered him less money, would he have come because of Cora? No.
But it's still a fair deal. I mean, it's a more than fair.
They gave him $40 million a year for 3 years. They gave him $40 million a year for 3 years. They had to overpay through the nose on a short-term deal to get him to come here. So now I will say this: the Red Sox have tried that in the past with other guys, and it didn't always work.
Well, they've mostly been laughed at.
Okay, and so they have for as long as this ownership has been in this market. I remember them saying we would rather pay more in AAV, average annual value, over the short term than do it over 8 years. We don't like the mega deals. They didn't like the David Price deal. It blew up in their face. They didn't like the Carl Crawford deal. It blew up in their face. The Adrian Gonzalez deal they didn't want to do. It blew up in their face. So they are now terrified of those long-term big dollar commitments. Terrified. To the point where they said, we will give Alex Bregman $40 million a year for 3 years to get him to come to Boston. And Bregman, unlike a lot of his predecessors, said yes.
Don't they deserve credit for that, though? Because they read the market and they read the player. And I think Craig Breslow deserves a lot of credit for actually landing the player. Listen, we've criticized the Red Sox, Mazz, for years for not landing the player. Rightfully so. Are we really going to come in here and criticize them today because they actually landed the player because the deal looks a little bit different than the traditional long-term setup across Major League Baseball? I understand what you're saying. This is still not a long-term commitment, 6, 7, 8-year deal, which is what it generally takes to land free agents in baseball. That's not what it required with this particular player. His market was not very good. All right. The Astros offered him 6 for $156 in the season. He walked away from that. The Tigers apparently offered him 6 for $171. Why didn't he go there? Particulars, didn't want to play there, whatever you have. They knew, and they knew for months, that his market was pretty dry. Whether or not that 6 for $171 was on the table, but if you don't want to take that 6 for $171, then you're not going to take it. They knew it. They maneuvered around this. They got the player. They deserve credit for that. I actually think they were savvy in the way they went about this.
Following up what you just said, so Jeff Passan, ESPN, tweeted about an hour ago, Alex Bregman had a variety of offers. Red Sox had the big number, $40 million a year before deferrals. Tigers had years and dollars, like you just said, Matt, 6 and 171.5, also with deferrals. Cubs at 4 and 120 had neither years, dollars, nor AAV. Tough to win when you trail all three.
He didn't want to go to Detroit, and they knew it all along. If he wanted to go to Detroit, he would have signed there at the winter meetings for that money. And they were aware of that. So they recognized that they could get this player more on their terms. They knew they were going to have to overpay in the short term, but they were willing to do that. The front office deserves credit. They do.
Have I criticized the Red Sox in the last 15 minutes?
Maybe the tone has been a little bit critical.
It's a tone.
I'm not criticizing the Red Sox. I'm criticizing the fan base who's now stroking itself because the pretty girl in class actually returned your call.
I know, it's a great
It's always a
feeling,
good
isn't it?
feeling.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
that's, yeah.
So she might go out with you now. I don't know if you're going to score, but she might actually go out with you.
Hey, I'll take my chances.
So all I'm telling you is I think the reaction to it is a little over the top. It's a little over the top. Why are you laughing?
Because it's just so you. It's so good.
So listen, to McCarthy's point, I said this 2 weeks ago, just to make this part of it clear.
Guys,
Okay.
you're all having too much fun. Dial it back a few.
So again, I said this 2 weeks ago. I thought they were handling Bregman versus Arenado perfectly. I thought they did that brilliantly. They held Arenado over Bregman's head, and they said, if you don't do this, we're going to do that. Here's where we're staying. They sat on a number, and they got the market. Everything you said is right. They got the market right. The player had to be willing to do it, though.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. So again, I give Bregman credit. I give Bregman credit for looking at it. And I'm not telling you the Red Sox did it wrong, because I think Bregman at the end of the day made a smart decision.
I agree.
Detroit, come on.
Take more of the money up front. I mean, you get back on the market in 3 years, maybe you make up some of that difference. I know there are deferrals in there, but it makes some sense for him.
So look, I like players who want to play in markets like this. Bregman's not afraid of it. He's tough. When I say tough, mentally tough. He's competitive. He's a balanced player. So am I glad they got him? Yes. But I've already seen people say World Series. Slow down. Slow down. He's a good player, and I'm not ready to just completely release the Red Sox from any culpability for the way they've run their operation over the last 5 or 6 years. We should have had to wait this long to get something better than a 500 team.
You hear that, Boston?
They're going to win the World Series, Tony. Get ready. Get on board now.
I hope you're right.
By the way, can I express disappointment in something?
Please.
Yeah.
Where's Mike Felger? This is a big day, a big breaking news day,
right.
and I'm disappointed that he did not fly from wherever he is to come in studio and participate in today's big Red Sox day and the signing of Alex Bregman.
Biggest working man in Boston sports media. You're right, Jimmy.
Maybe
Yes.
he'll call in.
Biggest Red Sox news in 5 years. Very Drake May of one Mike Felger.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed.
But
Very
again-
disappointed.
Headline, Mazz. Keep it in your pants, Boston.
Exactly. If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Red Sox analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.